Tom Felton, it sounds like my professor or something. I'm not going to say anything remotely intelligent, I warn you now. Okay, great. Am I taking questions? Brilliant. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
It's all good. Take your time. We've got an hour to fill, so.
I'm just a little bit nervous. I'm just wondering, what kind of music do you love to listen to?
Everything, really. I think we kind of come from the generation now where having a music genre that you like to listen to, and only that genre is kind of a thing of the past now. Depends on the mood, from classical to rap and hip hop and acoustic music. I'm a big fan of singer-songwriters. As far as groups and people specifically, the greats, you know, the Beatles, Dire Straits, Rolling Stones, that kind of stuff. Along with a lot of modern stuff as well, you know, from Eminem to as old as Mozart. So yeah, there's lots of good music out there. Thank you, Sue.
Hello.
Hello, lovely.
I was wondering, if you could cast a Patronus, what would your happy memory be?
Wish I had some time to prepare for that one. What would my Patronus be? I don't know. It'd probably be my dog, I think. Sounds a little strange, maybe, but she's kind of a source of many happy memories. So yeah, she would kind of symbolise me pretty well. Not Draco, I don't think. It'd probably be some sort of strange snake-like creature. But yeah, I hope Timber would suffice for my one. I have a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, which is pretty rare in England actually. I know they're a lot more common over here, but it's basically a brown lab from Chesapeake Bay, which is very special to me.
Hey Tom.
Hey, lovely.
I have a question. Obviously you have a lot of fans around here. I don't know if you saw the line that wrapped around the building everywhere. Is there anyone that you would line up to see at a panel at a convention?
That's a very interesting question actually. There hasn't been so far. You know, it's the whole convention lifestyle has been completely new to me. It's in the last couple of years that I've had the benefit of going to a few kind of around the world, and from that I'm becoming slowly a fan of various things that I never thought I would even remotely be. I'm being heavily educated in Doctor Who over the last which is very cool. I've been learning lots about that, which is fun. I've been getting very good friends with a few of the guys from Buffy as well, so I'm getting back to my own seasons of Buffy. But no, there isn't anything as such yet, but I'm sure that one day will be.
Okay.
Thank you. She looked very confused with that one.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, with Harry Potter ending and everything, it's really cool seeing the cast still hang out, and I was wondering if you could talk about Tupert.
Tupert? Help me out. Tupert is Tom and Rupert together. I don't know what context, but together.
Just like carrying on friendships from Harry Potter.
My favourite what, sorry?
Just carrying on your friendships from people that you knew on set.
Yes, very much. I think it's blossoming our relationships. How did you know? Yeah, it's been very weird actually since Harry Potter's finished. We've obviously been so used to kind of hanging out for 6-7 months of the year since we were 12 or 13 years old. So it has been kind of strange since finishing over a year ago. We really haven't seen hardly any of each other because we've all been in 4 different corners of the earth doing our own thing. You know, Daniel's obviously in New York doing his Broadway show, which I was very lucky enough to see about a month ago, and he was marvellous in that. It was quite bizarre actually, because I remember in the last film him doing the odd bit of dancing or singing in the hair and makeup chair. It's like, really? I'm not sure this is the direction in which JK had for Harry to go. He's a truly phenomenal actor. He's done such a great job. So yeah, it's great to hang out with him a bit more. And Rupert, or Tupert, I've been in LA with him actually for the last couple of weeks, and we've got lots of, we've had many a round of golf together. So yeah, it's good. We're all, it sounds like a cheesy line that Warner Brothers want us to say, but it really isn't what I say. We're kind of a tight family, and we're all very different as well. None of us are kind of similar in any respects, I don't think, but we all click very harmoniously, so yeah. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, sorry. I was wondering what the hardest thing was for you to shoot, like throughout the whole series of films. Like, what was the most difficult thing you had to do?
Sure. I mean, I'm not even going to inquire what the sniggering was about. Yeah, it's tricky because there's lots of different types of difficult, if that makes sense. Sometimes, believe it or not, there's some stuff that's can be physically challenging. We did some stuff in the last film, in the Room of Requirement, where more or less set it on fire, and we had to scavenge our way up this sort of mountain of rubble, which was okay doing it once, but we did it for about 2 weeks, and kind of ascending and going back and forth. So yeah, needless to say, I'd rather fit in the upper arms doing that for 2 weeks. But to honestly, the most challenging for me was getting the opportunity to kind of work with a lot of the senior actors on a more sort of close scale, especially in the last few films. Especially or specifically the very last film, having that scene with Voldemort and the rest of the sort of realms of evil and me sitting in the it was very, very awkward. We shot that for sort of 2 or 3 weeks, for quite a while, and I was the only child on set, if you will. I was still 22, but I considered myself a child to these actors, and I was very nervous. Although they were always very friendly to me and polite, I had never really been used centrally as a character in a scene in which they were acting, and so I was very nervous about stepping up to the plate, so to speak. And it doesn't matter how friendly Rafe finds us when he's dressed as Voldemort. He's even more terrifying when he's just reading a newspaper with a cup of tea. Oh my God, Voldemort is drinking green tea. So with some of the other actors, it's a lot easier because you can kind of see through their makeup or their disguise. But Rafe looks. I actually saw Rafe for one of the first times outside of filming after the 6th or 7th film. And at the premiere, and I introduced myself to him as if I'd never met him before. I just didn't recognise him. He looked so human. But evidently, those were actually the scenes that I most enjoyed because they went from terrifying to hugely rewarding in about a week. So that was good fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. What about yourself?
I have kind of a fun question to ask you.
Okay.
What do you prefer, pancakes or waffles, and why?
I love those kind of questions. I'm no longer being put on the spot with that one. Pancakes all day. What I call pancakes is not essentially what you guys call pancakes. I mean, I refer to the French crepe. Are you familiar with this? That's kind of what we call a pancake. It's only in the last 3 years that American-style pancakes have started to come to England, and thank God they finally have. Marvelous things they are. They're a tradition of if I wake up in America, my breakfast is always a nice stack of pancakes. So, yes, I even hear there's an international house of pancakes. I hope I get to visit that before I go home. So. Thank you.
I was wondering if there's anything you're sick of fans bringing up like Jerry, or if there's anything you always wanted us to ask that no one ever has.
What was the thing that I'm sick of bringing up?
Jerry.
Oh, okay. Draco and Harry, right? The imagination of the fans always... Someone told me the other day about Drapple. It's Draco and an apple. Come on. I couldn't believe that. That was very special. Sorry, I've gone off on a complete tangent. What was your... Oh, yes, you mentioned... No, I quite enjoy it when people bring up their own fan fiction or their own subjects of choice. It's one of the greatest things about what J.K. Rowling has done. She seems to have inspired the whole world to make their own stuff. Some better than others, but nevertheless, to create anything is better than nothing, so that's a good thing. No, there really isn't. There's nothing off the top of my head. I generally don't get asked the same question 1,000 times, so I'm pretty happy. That was a good question. You stumped me there. Thank you, lovely.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Very well, thanks. How's the weekend been?
Pretty awesome, actually.
All right.
I wanted to ask you about your, well, word on the street is you rap a little, and I was wondering when you did mixtape drop.
I missed the request at the end.
Yeah, word on the street is that you rap a little, and I was wondering when your mixtape would be available for
Sure, I'm in the studio at the moment. You've got Rupert producing a few beats for me. He's not. Word on the street is horribly wrong. As much as I would love to drop 16 bars of fiery lyrics for you right now, I fear I have come ill prepared. But yeah, the mixtape's not dropping anytime soon. But if it does, look out for it. Actually, I had a story there. Someone donned the name Snoop Hoggy Hogwarts. That's my official rap name. And my manager and my girlfriend, bless her, thought it'd be very funny to book all my hotel rooms and the entire tour of the Harry Potter publicity as Snoop Hoggy Hogwarts. So when I checked in, it was the same thing every time. Good evening, Mr. Hoggy Hogwarts. Oh, look at that, please. So it was a name that followed me around for the entire trip. So yeah. Thank you for your question.
Hi.
Hey.
I just want to say also, my name card says Snoop Hoggy. I couldn't fit Hogwarts, but what genre of film do you like working in the most?
Yeah, I guess it's a similar answer to the music one. I mean, I've only sort of dabbled in a handful of genres in my short career, but I've had fun with all of them. I don't really think the projects that I would consider are at all genre-based. In the slightest, really. To me, I've been very lucky enough to work with some incredible, talented, very nice, friendly people over the last 10 years that have made the whole thing a great experience. And I really think that shows in the films. I think if you work on a film where there's a horrible atmosphere on set and everyone hates each other, it shows in the film. You can tell that people were passionate about it. So my first criteria is find people that are passionate about what they do. So that's usually my first concern when I'm meeting a new director and so forth. But excuse me, I hope to dive into lots of different genres. I'm a big fan of horror films. I grew up watching them, so I like to dabble a bit more in that, to comedy and hopefully some more equally, if not more, villainous roles in the future. Thank you. These things always crack me up, man. Hello.
What's your favorite part about working in the entertainment industry?
Without question, actually, kind of you guys, really. It's one of the nice things that we get to do, and genuinely, this is a great opportunity for me to say thank you. No, seriously. People always assume that we started off with the mind frame of, right, we're going to make 8 films and we're going to go all the way regardless of what happens, and that was not the case. It was only because of the passion and the fanaticism of the first film that we even considered making a second, and thus a third and fourth, and that was all the way right to the end. So this is a good opportunity for me to say thank you for you guys. And one of the nicest things actually, one of the nicest things that people have said to me over the last kind of year doing the handful of conventions that I have done, is you get a lot of young kids say thanks for being part of my childhood, or thanks for growing up with me. And it's really sweet, because I've never met these guys before, and I had no idea that I was so heavily involved in it. It's really touching when actually they turn around and say, I've grown up with you. I watched the first film when I was 8 or 9 years old, and now I'm 20, and I've been a massive fan of all the films. So yeah, that's quite touching. We're very blessed. All of the Harry Potter cast are very blessed that we can touch. I'm going to say something horrible. I was going to say touch children, but we can't touch children. Back up a little bit. We touch aren't as fortunate in life, and we get to kind of make their day without doing a whole lot. So I feel very blessed to have that capability and a plan to abuse it as much as I can. Thank you, lovely.
Hi, I was wondering if you were on the path right now that you are for acting, what do you think your career path would be?
Sure. Did you say if I wasn't acting? Sorry.
Yeah, if you were.
Yeah, I don't know. I toyed with that question with my brother actually quite a bit, because a lot of people say to me, "Do you have any advice for young actors, or inspiring words?" And not really, but I always say do it because you love to do it. But more importantly, be lucky. You have to be so. I'm so lucky. I'm not here because I was the perfect person for the job. I was very lucky with who I met and where I stood on a certain day and what I eventually spoke in the auditions and so forth. So, if I wasn't so lucky, where would I be? I have no idea. I like to think something creative. I've never really been much of an academic mastermind, so I can't see me working in an office job too successfully. So I'll probably be doing something with my hands, like, I don't know, landscape gardening or something outside. I'd like to work outdoors for sure. And I'd love to get the opportunity to work in America, so who knows, I could have already been here as a full citizen by now. Thank you, lovely.
I don't recognize me. I was dressed as an outsider, but I was wondering.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is my lovely friend. We met her on the first day, and she very kindly answered some questions for me about conventioning, which is cool.
I was wondering how your relationship with your friends has changed now that you're famous.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually. I consider myself exceptionally lucky in this field as well, because I was 12, I think it was, or 13 when I agreed to do the first Harry Potter film. And by that time I'd had a year in my secondary school, kind of a chance to establish a handful of friends. And those five or six friends, or maybe a dozen or so, are still my very best friends to the day. They actually cared very little for Harry Potter and what I did for a living. And they care even less now, so it's really nice, because I have little interest in what they do every day. They have little interest in what I do. We just meet up and have a beer and watch the cricket at the end of the day. So I kind of think the basis of what any good relationship should be. Which is, it's nice. As much as I love the industry in which I'm in, it's not everything to me. Family and friends are far more important. So I'm very blessed to have friends who don't care, really. Which is cool. Thank you, lovely.
Hi.
Hey. You're a very sweet voice.
What inspires you to write your lyrics and stuff? And do you think you could sing well?
That's just me, man. No. It's a very sweet offer of you, and as much as I'd love to bleed your ears for hours with my tunes, I shall resist for now. As far as what inspires me, I don't know, everything and anything. Very generic, boring answers, I'm afraid. Life in general, from it can be the smallest thing. We were in a restaurant not so long ago in Spain, and there was I'll never forget, there was a young girl in a long white dress, and she was sitting on the dock eating an ice lolly, I think. This was about 9 o'clock at night, and she sat there for about an hour and a half, just looking into the ocean, into the horizon, and it was very inspiring. I watched her and thought, this is a great start for a song straight away. So it can be very meaningless things that turn into something overnight. So yeah, it's nothing specific, generally just life. Thank you, lovely.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
My question is, in the Deathly Hallows Part 2, in the 19 years later scene, how did you like that scene?
Sorry, I couldn't hear which scene was it, lovely?
The 19 years later scene?
Ah, yes. Most unfair, I thought. Most unfair. It was 19 years later, so we worked out roughly to be 34 or something on those lines. Looks about 100 in the film. It's supposed to be Jason Isaac's son. I look like his granddad. It was a little bit embarrassing, but it was actually great fun. I think the boys were slightly more up for the aging part than the girls, so he kind of got the heavier end of the stick with that one. It was cool. It took them about 6 months to prepare for that. They got pictures of my dad and my granddad to see which direction I was going in, which is very depressing. And then they stick various things to your face, from like cat obviously with my hairline, obviously a big wig, goatee, some jowls, I think they call them, to like puff up your cheeks, crow's feet in your eyes to give you sort of wrinkles. It was a sort of 4-hour process for 3 mornings. But it was good fun. Needless to say, the best part of the day was getting in front of that mirror at the end of it and taking it off. And yes! It was good. It was nice to literally watch 20 years, or more like 50 years, clear off your face in a few minutes. That was good fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, lovely.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Did you have fun last night?
It did. I'm a massive fan of your hat. I know I told you yesterday.
It's from Firefly. That's another show you should.
Yeah. And that one's right up there for sure.
They're very popular. My question is, obviously you've seen a lot of really fun costumes around the con.
For sure.
If you ever showed up in a costume, what would you wear? Would you be like something random, or would you bring one of Draco's outfits or something?
I've had a lot of fun this weekend because I'm doing a little bit of documentation around what I've been walking around with my camera, taking pictures and taking a bit of video as well, just to kind of show my friends who care very little about what I do for a living what convention life is all about, because they have absolutely no idea and they're quite intrigued. I've been lucky enough to bump into a few people and ask them questions and so forth, and I really thought, I actually requested a mask upon getting here. I thought it would be a good idea to walk around incognito with a mask on. I really haven't, they got me a Death Eater's mask. That answers, that says for everything. I can't do that. So I actually just walked around as myself, and it was marvelous getting people's reactions and so forth. I think it was very unexpected to see me walking around shoving a camera in people's faces. That was my outfit for the weekend, and I had a very sweet girl. This girl dressed in a Freddy Krueger outfit. This was one of the first young girls that we found to ask some questions. And we asked her question for about 5 minutes, and she didn't say anything. And just at the very end, she said, "You know, you look just like that Harry Potter guy." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh, that's fascinating. I'm here as a impersonator, actually." You have the accent and everything. And someone very sweetly whispered in her ear, "That's the guy." And she was like, "You shut up." And we got it all on camera. It was marvelous. She was a very sweet girl. So, yeah, back to the question. Sorry, I got off on a ridiculous amount of tangents. I'm not sure. Something cool. I saw someone dressed in a Voldemort costume. That was pretty fun, but a little bit time-consuming, possibly, to wipe up your face every morning. And shaving the nose off must have been a nightmare. So yeah, we'll see. If you see a big, huge, pink anime cat walking around this afternoon, you know who it is. Thank you. I hope there is a pink anime cat out there today. It's fantastic. Find that cat.
Hi.
Hey.
If you were to go to Hogwarts right now, what house do you think would you sort of into?
Undoubtedly Slytherin. I'm amazed. Gryffindor gets so much support. Really? There's no room for manoeuvre there. Slytherin kind of buys you a bit of freedom to bump the other lesson and, play truant a little bit. To be honest with you, I'm not even remotely as bad as most Slytherins would be, but I'm kind of passionate about my house now. I have a tattoo on my left buttock, so... yeah, to be honest with you, I probably would be a Slytherin. Yeah, no. I haven't, I'm joking. There's no tattoo. Although I did suggest, on a completely separate note, I did suggest to do a kind of Lord of the Rings-esque style tattoo amongst the cast. A lightning bolt, that sort of thing. And no one was up for it. I mean, maybe the forehead was a little excessive. I was the only one who was actually up for it, so yeah, if you get a chance to see it in any other cast, mention it. Twist their arms. Thank you, lovely.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Congrats on your 900,000 Twitter fans.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you. To everyone following, thank you. I'll do my best to stay entertaining.
My question is, what is your strangest experience with a fan?
Yeah. There's been plenty. No, I mean, it's hard to depict strange, really, isn't it? Depends how you definitely define that word. I've had lots of, I was saying this yesterday, and it does seem to be the case, there's lots of, not Harry Potter chat-up lines, but Harry Potter innuendo lines in which you can use the phrases of broomsticks and wands and golden snitches in a way which they really should never have performed in that way. So I've had lots of middle-aged ladies asked to see my wand in return for the golden snitch. So there's been some bizarre. I don't want to get into too much detail in regards to the exact phrases they used, but needless to say, they were most suggestive. So yeah, that's pretty strange. I'm really get used to that. Thank you.
Hi, I've got a bit more of a technical question.
Oh God, all right.
It should be hard. At the end of the last film, at the end of the final battle, Draco and his parents walk away.
Yes.
Whereas in the book, they went back into the Great Hall, and it was kind of implied that
Yes.
they were rejoining the society of everyone else. And I was wondering if you knew why they made that choice and what you felt about it.
Sure. I mean, it's always an impossible task sticking. I mean, the reason why we split the last book into two films is so it could stay as true as we wanted to the original text. It does still present difficulties. It's almost impossible to actually, not only for a screenwriter to actually translate it from page to screenplay. It's also very hard for a director as well, because books work in a very different way, for sure. You kind of choose how much time you want to spend on any given section, and you can kind of speed up bits that your mind is less interested in and focus very much on the bits that you love. Whereas film, it's displayed for you. They tell you what you should be thinking and so forth. And actually, in the last film, it's very interesting because David Yates, I know he shot various different. I used the phrase alternate endings once, and they were like, what? Alternate endings to the book? No, not alternate endings, but differences. Ones in which Draco and Narcissa went to the Great Hall and Lucius stayed outside and kind of got trampled on, and we saw him come to his demise. And various other bits and pieces as well with Harry and wands and how certain wands ended up in certain people's hands. It was a very challenging task for David Yates, the director, I think, to not only stay as true as he wanted to, but also make the most entertaining action-packed film. It's very tough because there's so much good material. I know a lot of people have said, oh, you didn't spend long enough on this bit, or watching one of the Weasley brothers die, or various other different sections, and again, watching the Malfoys sort of skulk off into obscurity, rather than, as the book says, into the Great Hall. I mean, they're all choices that are obviously out of our hands. We don't really have any control over that, but I completely trust the director and the producer's decision to do that. I'm just going to go on for it. So yeah, it didn't bother me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom. So I was wondering what your favorite American phrase was, and if you could do it for us, the American accent.
Favorite American
Phrase.
Oh, phrase. That's a tough one. There's so many. You guys got some classics, really. Booyah, indeed. I said that once on, I don't know what show it was, MTV or something, and that's more requested than Potter now. So, I'm a big fan of arson, because that's pretty much all Chris Columbus ever said on the very first two films. And he directed the first two films, and he would, after every take, just go, awesome! So he knew we were doing good things when he said that, so yeah. That's one of them for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, lovely.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Alright. I read in an interview that you ad-libbed the line in the second movie, I didn't know you could read. And I was wondering if you had any other improv lines from you or the other actors in the film that you thought were particularly memorable?
Yeah, it's true. I forget the exact how that happened now. It definitely wasn't in the script. It was something that either Chris Columbus suggested or I did, but I was slightly hazy on the stories. People have told me it was me, and I never got a chance to ask Chris, but it was a very cool line. And as far as I know, that was the only time ever in the entire franchise where we ever said, let's add in a line, or let's, we can actually play with the script a little bit. It was obviously we were very keen not to deviate from what the script was, because there was a reason why every line was chosen. But I was very grateful for that. I thought it was a very cool line when it showed Drake could be a bit of a smart ass early on. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, I forget the exact story, but it definitely wasn't in the script. Thank you, Lovely.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
If you could have any object from the wizarding world that would work in the Muggle world, what would it be?
Money question. Can I ask the same to you?
Probably a time turner.
Good call. That's a good one, isn't it? There's no arguing with that. I was just going to jump straight on the broomstick and just be like, yeah, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, I hate traffic. They're very green. The fuel emissions are exceptionally low on an industry. I suppose the obvious answer, other than the time turner, because I'm a mischievous soul, is the invisibility cloak. That's it. That would be pretty cool. I dare not share what I would get up to. It's only made a much of it. Thank you, lovely.
Hi there.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Pigbot's Intergalactic School of Witchcraft and Wizardry soon.
I missed that. The speakers are pointing out, so I can't.
Pigbot's Intergalactic School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Is that a question or just
It's on Mars.
I'm still getting completely...
Are you going to...
Am I going? No.
Yes.
Sorry, I just don't know where that came from. No. The answer on that, I wish I was. Unfortunately, yet to receive my letter. You too? Must be a trouble with the mailing system. I don't have anything else to say, I'm sorry. But thank you. I hope I remotely answered your question.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much.
I was just wondering, for all the fans here, could you say my father would hear about this?
My father will hear about this. Hi there. Really, Gryffindor? I just need you.
Could you ask
I was wondering, which of the 4 score composers is your favorite?
Which of the...
The 4 score composers.
Yes. It's hard to ignore the work of Master Williams, really. He's one of the greatest score composer of certainly my generation or our generation, I think. He's done so many beautiful pieces of music, and ones that are so apt, it's ridiculous. Like how the Harry Potter jingle, just the little xylophone, you can hear that and it'll instantly shiver any spine, I think, of anyone who's ever seen it before. So, I'm a big fan of his. But saying that, actually, the last 2, excuse me, the names escape me. I know it's a French gentleman who did.
Alexander.
Can you remember that?
Yes, I was very fortunate enough to go to Abbey Road for a day and watch a 125-piece London symphony orchestra to perform the music for that film. It was truly fascinating. It was amazing to see actually how film really doesn't come to life, even in the tiniest speck of the word, until you apply apt music that really suits the scene. So I think they've done a real good job over the 8 years of doing that, for sure. Who's yours, out of curiosity? You can't really say any other, can you? All right, well, thanks for the question, lovely.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Tom.
Hello.
question, much better than all these little opinionated questions.
Please.
If you could recommend to me a proper brand of wizard diapers.
Oh, what? Sorry. You just shout. Be very. It's just something I can't hear you. Sorry.
I was wondering if you could recommend a good brand of wizard diapers.
Dire. Host. Yeah. Someone give me something quickly. Yeah, you Huggies. You vouching for Huggies. We have a Huggies supporter in the front row. It sounds very Muggle-like, though. To be fair, there must be some sort of wizarding alternative, surely.
That's why I was asking you, really.
I hate to disappoint you. I'm not that knowledgeable of wizarding nappies. But good luck on your search. Thank you, sir.
I was wondering, how was it filming with Richard Harris, and what did you think about when they had to replace him?
How is it do what, sorry?
How was it filming with Richard Harris as Dumbledore as compared to his replacement afterwards?
Yeah, marvellous. Richard Harris and Michael Gambon have both been really inspirational people to work with. Richard Harris is kind of a legend of certainly British cinema and British theatre. And unfortunately, I was too young to really realise that when I worked with him. I was only sort of 12, 13. I think it was 14 possibly when he sadly passed away. So it's been one of those ironic things that I spoke to him quite frequently when I was young, and it's only now that I realised how lucky I had the opportunity to work with him, really. He was a very serious man. Maybe not serious, but he didn't say an awful lot, to be honest with you. Whereas Michael Gambon, or Mickey G, as he's known, it's quite the opposite. The first opportunity I had a chance to work with Michael was on Half-Blood Prince, doing the scene where Draco tries to kill him. And I was terrified about this, because I knew it was doing Draco in a different light, and more to the point, we had a Knight of the Round Table to act against, and I was very nervous about working with him, and he could not have taken the piss more. Sorry, that's an expression that doesn't translate over here. He couldn't have joshed about. Is that what? He's a bit of a joker, through and through. And I never forget actually being upset once about messing up a line and going out for a breath of fresh air with him, and him saying, Mr. Campbell, I'm really apologetic. I spent all last night learning the lines. I know they're there. I should learn. He said, are you kidding? Do you have any idea how much they pay me every week? Keep messing it up. We can be here for another few weeks. He was a comedian through and through, and he was joking. We didn't mess it up for 2 weeks. But he knew exactly what to say to relieve you of your nerves. So that was very cool. Getting a chance to work with him.
All right, enjoy the rest of your time.
Thank you, you too.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
I was wondering if you had to pick any role, your dream role in a show, past, present, or even something that hasn't been made yet, what would it be?
Wow, that's a tricky one. I never forget growing up as a kid, and the role that made me want to be an actor, I guess, was James Bond. So I visually thought, yes. Actually, quite sadly, I remember on my dressing room door for The Borrowers, which is a film I did when I was 7 years old. Borrowers supported, love it. I crossed out P. Green Clock, which was my name, and wrote the next James Bond. I was a few decades short, I think. But yeah, actually, and oddly now, I think I would rather be the Bond villain. Hopefully one day I get a chance to do that. That would be a dream role.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
I was just wondering, who do you think would win in a battle, Batman or Superman?
Out of who? Sorry, I missed the two contenders.
Batman or Superman?
Batman or Superman, okay. Is that an obvious answer? I thought Superman would take him out, sure. I mean, but yeah, Batman has kryptonite. She didn't mention that. To be honest with you, I mean, one follows the way of a bat, and one of them's super. So surely it's the Superman. Yeah, I'm gonna go Superman. I'm a supporter of Superman. There's a very nice guy here. I'm not sure if you've ever had the chance to see him, but there's a dude here dressed up as Superman. He's doing Clark Kent, I think, today, a guy called Alexander Ray. And he is pretty special, man. So yeah, I'm biased.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, lovely.
Hey Tom,
Hey, what's going on?
what was your hometown like?
My hometown. That's interesting. I haven't been asked that one before. It's a very. Anyway, more words do I say? It's pretty quiet. I mean, a lot of people, when they say where are you from, I usually say London because it's the closest, big town to me. And also, I live about 50 miles away from London, which compared to most of America is a very short distance rather than a long one. So I come from a sort of quiet suburb of London. I went to a very normal secondary school with my 3 older brothers who went there. And yeah, it was 2 very, very separate worlds for me. The world of filming and promoting and going to conventions and stuff. And then there was the Tom who just went to secondary school, never spoke about really what went on in the other world, and kind of got on with it, and suffered greatly for having white albino hair in school, but it was all good character building stuff. So yeah, it was 2 very separate worlds, and I feel very lucky. I know some of the other cast members haven't been so lucky with their time. Daniel and Emma Roberta put in so much more time and effort than I've had to. I feel very lucky to have had that sort of normal-ish home life.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope that was remotely interesting.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
I was just wondering, what was your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Favorite film? Yeah, it's a tough one. What about you, my friend? Do you have a clear favorite?
Harry Potter 5.
5? Oh, okay. I'm a big fan of Prisoner of Azkaban. Was always we're very proud of the first 2 films and what Chris Columbus managed to achieve with 12 very amateur actors. But Prisoner of Azkaban was really the first film to kind of, we saw the future there, I think, of Harry Potter when we first saw that. So that was a very cool film, but how can we deny Deathly Hallows Part 2, really? That was that's kind of a chapter we've been working up to, or we had been working up to for so long. So that was a real treat for us getting a chance to watch that.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Hi there.
Hey.
First of all, kudos for bearing Voldemort's hug.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about the hug. The hug was special. He's a great hugger. He's not, he's terrible. Sorry, go on.
What was the last scene that you filmed, and how was your last day? What was it like?
Emotional. You're very upset. It was kind of a staggered ending for me in a weird way. We never kind of had a date where they said goodbye, that's it. So the last day I did with other actors was the platform 9 3/4 stuff, the epilogue 19 years on, which was quite cool. It was a nice way to just kind of say goodbye to Dan and everybody working with those 3. Ironically, it was almost 10 years to the day that we were the kids being put on the train for the first time. So it was a very apt way to finish that. It kind of felt like my life had flashed in front of my eyes, slightly. And my very, very last day was doing a shot of Draco walking away from the battle scene alone with second unit. It was a night shoot, and obviously that choice didn't make it into the film. Draco didn't skulk off by himself, he went with his parents. So it was a nice last day. They gave me a send-off. I saluted everyone and shook everyone's hand and left before I could start crying like a little girl. So, it was one of those things where we had to get out of there post-haste. So yeah, I did so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Hey, first of all, I'm not sure how well you can see me, but
All I can see is a t-shirt, sorry. What does it say?
It says, I heart Tom Felton,
Oh,
and I
bless you. It's a Rupert.
Exactly.
Okay,
We wanted to spray paint our hair red, but we didn't have it. But I actually wanted to ask about Planet of the Apes.
Alright, awesome. I was blown away by how many of you guys have seen it and said nice things about it, so thank you for your support, I really appreciate it. And sorry, what's your question?
I have two questions. First of all, I wanted to ask you how awesome was it that you got to say the most famous line in the entire movie franchise?
Pretty cool. Yeah. It was strange though, because I hadn't done much. I've been brought up with the Planet of the Apes movies as a kid, so I always knew of them, and I went to go see the Tim Burton one at the cinema when it came out, and was a fan of that. When we turned up on the day of that filming, all the producers were there, all the execs, and all these people that weren't usually there, and I kept saying, why are they here? You know, are they here for the fight scene between you and Andy? I was like, oh, cool. They weren't. They were just purely there for this one line. And they made me say about 25 different variants, from damn dirty to literally loads and loads of different ones in case we trod on the toes of the previous films and didn't quite do them justice. And I didn't really know what I was saying, to be honest with you. One of the greatest things Rupert said to me, the director, was just forget about any stigma with this line. Forget about the history. I was like, okay, that's easy. I hadn't refreshed my memory of where that line was directly from and in which context it was set. I knew the line, obviously, but I didn't realise quite how important the line was. So that night I went home and kind of Googled it. I was blown away that they let me say it. And I was even more blown away that they kept it in the film. So yeah.
They won't let me ask about Andy Serkis, though.
What's sorry, lovely?
Yeah, they've got a lot of people there.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hey man, what's going on? Look at this guy. This is a tribute to costume. Sorry, mate. I'm talking over you. What did you say?
What film was the most fun to make for you?
What was the most fun bit? Did you say?
What was the most fun film for you to make?
Most fun film? Yeah. Yes! Alright, we got that. Excuse my ears. They're all amazingly good fun. We had such a good time on the very last Harry Potter film, Definitely Hallows Part 2. It was kind of a good and bad thing, where they would bring out massive walls of Hogwarts and blow them up right in front of our eyes. So it was kind of one of those, yeah, wow, cool, and then, wait a minute, no, that's how it happened. So it was weird to watch them destroy our once home. It was very cool. And on a separate note, working with Andy Serkis on Rise of the Apes was a real treat. That guy is a genius in every aspect of the acting work. So yeah, that was a real treat as well.
Alright, one more question before we wrap things up.
Okay.
I have a question and a statement. The question is, how does Harry Potter relate to the Planet of the Apes?
Not in the slightest. I don't think. I'm trying to think, is there any sort of metaphorical... No. Caesar is nothing like Voldemort, I don't think. Or Harry, for that matter. Sorry, yeah. You were expecting an intelligent answer, but I managed to leave the two together. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I have a question.
Sure.
Are you thinking of going to the Yule Ball tonight?
Would you go with me if I went to the Yule Ball tonight? No. I really felt out my Luckily, as sweet as of a girl as I'm sure you are, I can't make it either, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going to be catching a plane home this afternoon. But I've already heard many excited people that they're going to be attending, and I'm looking forward to checking out pictures left, right, and centre of all your fabulous costumes. Thank you, Sarah. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I've really enjoyed it.